Hello, boys and girls. This is Professor Nelson from Electronics. Aren't you tired of buying these types of batteries? They are quite expensive and sometimes hard to find. And unfortunately, they are necessary for our equipment to work. So sometimes we are forced to look for this type of battery, and sometimes we don't usually find it. This type of battery or batteries give us 1.5 volts. Therefore, we can find a replacement. Not only for calculators, but for other electronic equipment, such as this calibrator, which also requires this type of battery. What alternatives do we have to replace these small batteries? Well, AA batteries are an alternative, since they give us 1.5 volts. Which is the same voltage they deliver. But this is a battery that delivers 3 volts. Therefore, 2 of these are required. You can also use AAA batteries, which are much smaller than AA batteries. And yet they have much more energy. And their cost is much lower than any of these batteries. Therefore, it is more advisable to use this type of batteries that you are here. Besides, they are much cheaper and easier to find. Therefore, in this video, I am going to teach you how to adapt this type of batteries to any electronic device. Without further ado, let's get started. Well, the first thing we are going to do is take out the battery. Now here we have 2 contacts, one on the inside and another on the side. Now which one is positive and which one is negative? Well, for that we can see the batteries. And if you look here, it says that it is positive. And here it doesn't say anything. So this one must be negative. And this one must be positive. Positive would be the whole contour. But to avoid any doubts, we are going to use the multimeter. We put our multimeter in direct current voltage, in 2 volts or 20 volts. We take any of the batteries since it is the same. Here where it says positive, we are going to put positive. And so confirm that the bottom is negative. And we can confirm that the bottom is negative. And the top is positive, and the whole contour is also positive. Well, now we know that this is negative, and the contour would be positive. Now we are going to solder 2 cables, one positive and one negative. Well, now we have the negative and the positive soldered. Now we are going to glue them so that they don't move if they do move. Well, while it is cooling, we move on to the battery. Now we move on to soldering it to the cables. We solder the positive to positive. And the negative to negative. We turn it over, and you can see that it is on. Now we just have to glue the battery. We're going to glue the battery there, and then the wires. Finally, let's arrange the wires. And we glue them there. And we wait for it to dry, and then we test our calculator. Ready, guys? That way we updated our calculator. This one doesn't need this type of battery anymore. We're making it work directly with a AA battery. Quite big compared to these. But it doesn't interfere with the operation of the calculator. This one can work without any problem. So the battery doesn't get in the way. Everything is working correctly. And that way you can also update other equipment. As is the case with the calibrator. I could put a AAA battery in this one. This one here, I would put it on it. And it would fit perfectly. And we make the same connections. Don't forget which one is positive and which one is negative. The bottom would be negative and the sides would be positive. We put 2 wires and solder them to this one just like we did with the calculator. Well, that's how the video would end. Now don't forget, guys, that if you like the video, a like helps the channel a lot. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.